In this video, I'm going to be giving an update on repairs to my 2008 Smart Fortwo 451. Hello and welcome to another video from Auto Night. Now yesterday I set out with the intention of making two videos. One for the removal of the front panels on my Smart Fortwo and then another to replace the offside front top suspension mounting and shock absorber for reasons which I'll go on to explain. Now most people will be aware that this is the Platinum Jubilee weekend. And something I hadn't considered is that street parties would begin, garden parties, barbecues and the like. And very shortly after I got into filming repairs, all manner of music started and celebrations. And in the end I had to accept that I wasn't going to be able to make the two videos I intended. So this is going to be a bit of an update. It's going to be a bit patchy in terms of content. It's not a full repair video in terms of the shock absorber or the removal of the front panels. I'll see what I can get in terms of refitting the front panels. After all, refitting, removal, they're just the opposite of each other, and it's not hard to deduce the opposite procedure. So yesterday I think I uncovered possibly the worst botch I've ever seen in terms of vehicle repairs. Saddest thing is the previous owner paid £120 in labour and about £25 in parts to have this offside front suspension top mount replaced because it had failed its MOT. This was a year or two ago. Now I think they bit off more than they could chew. They didn't realise how difficult a job it would be, especially when water had filled this cup, corroded the top of the shock absorber, which meant the threads had disappeared, all the front panels had to come off, and my guess is they thought that's too much hard work, I know a quicker way. And what they did is they just filled it with this mastic, this sealant, and this effectively packed out the gap that was there as a result of this mounting being worn. They compress, they flatten over time, and then you get wear. So this was about 150 quid's worth of repair, and it's appalling. And whoever worked on that car, whoever carried out this repair, should really be ashamed of themselves and probably shouldn't actually be working on cars at all. This puts people's lives at risk, and it's a disgrace. I'm actually tempted to go into this garage with this invoice, and I have hidden the details of the offending establishment, but I'm tempted to go in there and have a chat with them, because if that person still works there, their manager needs to be aware, and if it's the manager that carried out the repair, then that's even more concerning. So enough about that. It's all fixed now, and the car is back together, and when I say back together, I mean mechanically. The front panels are still off. These need to be refitted, and there are a few other little jobs that I'm going to carry out today. But now let's see what happened yesterday in terms of the shock absorber and top mount replacement. So today I'm going to be replacing this top suspension mount along with the shock absorber. Due to water collecting in this cup here, the thread at the top of the shock absorber is heavily corroded, and this could be a bit of a devil to get off. Would you believe that the previous owner was charged for having this top mount replaced? And some unscrupulous garage had simply put sealant under here to pack out the gap, the distance, in an attempt to eliminate the play. It may have worked to get it through its MOT. My guess is that they realised that they'd bitten off more than they could chew, that this nut would be heavily seized, and that you'd need to get all the front panels off, including the headlight, to really tackle it properly, due to the limited space. There is considerable play in this, which can be demonstrated when I rock the wheel. And it's making a lot of noise over bumps. Now this is going to be potentially difficult to undo, because ordinarily you would place an Allen key to hold the actual shock absorber there while you undo this nut. But it's corroded away, so it may come to actually gripping the shock absorber telescopic section with a pair of mole grips. So this could be difficult. While the front panels are off, it's a really good opportunity to have a really good look around at the front, just to check that there's not ever been any accident damage, check that the cross member is intact, that these foam sections are here and present. They're your first line of defence against small parking knocks. And just moving down to where these little crash bars are here and the chassis legs, you get the opportunity just to have a look and make sure that everything is intact. There are a few bits of broken plastic in here. It's minor in nature. I think there's been just a slight knock here at some point, a little split there, but nothing significant. I think it will have just been a very low speed, maybe a parking knock or something. But everything, all the important bits are absolutely intact and everything looks original. It also gives you a good idea of the construction of these amazing little cars. There's so much packed into such a small space. While the front panels are off, it's a good idea to clean, thoroughly clean and lubricate the hinges because you've got really good access to them in their entirety. So I've cleaned these off with WD-40, I've dried them, and then I'll be applying some white grease. It's now time to refit the front panel, which is better as a two-man job. However, today it's just me. Unfortunately, the aerial is seized to the base on this car, which is quite common. So we have to put it all the way down the mast like that. Be a bit careful not to scratch the tritium or the doors when we do this, especially as it's only me here doing this. But we manage. Really is just a case of lining everything up. It's important to make sure that you actually get these, push these side repeater wires through the panel at this point, or they'll end up trapped inside. So just a recap on the attachment points for the front panel section on the Smart 451. So we have 1, 2, 3 here. You've got top of the wings here and here. At the top here, this screw attaches to the scuttle panel. In here you have a bolt. Don't forget the spacer behind that prevents this panel from being crushed as you tighten it. And at the bottom of the wing here, there's a fixing. Just inside the car you have these little plastic rivets with the push inserts. And finally, under the front there are these two little bits that need to locate, these two little tabs that need to locate in slots in the front panel. All of these fixings are T25, with the exception of this one here on each side, which is a T30. In order to access this screw here at the bottom of the wing, the sill trims have to be removed, the side skirts. I took the opportunity to clean up the paintwork underneath here and wax it. That's just because I'm me, and I like things to be clean even though they can't be seen necessarily. It's good to know it's protected underneath the trim. In terms of these side skirts, it's important to refit these clips here, and these push onto the threaded studs that protrude from the sill, and these then clip underneath at the lowest point. There are two plastic rivets with the push centres here and here at the back of the car. It's then just a case of refitting these two spool trims. There's a locating tab there. And then they're just held in with these little clips. I also changed the rear number plate as the old one was really in quite a bad way. And once it was off, behind it, it was absolutely full of adhesive stickers, lots of them, sticky pads, and I removed those, cleaned it all up and put a new number plate on. I also got a new smart badge for it, as for some reason somebody had decided to debadge it, God knows why, and that badge was missing. Fortunately, the outline of the lettering was still visible in the lacquer, so it was very easy to get it straight and get it fitted back where it should be. Additionally, this red plastic cover that goes over the positive battery terminal was missing, and I ordered one from the smart dealer. It was only a couple of quid. I've just fitted that. It's important that that's in place, as it's really easy to inadvertently short out the positive terminal to ground with a spanner or whatever you're working with in this little confined area. So it's meant to be there, and now it's there. So the car is now finally back together, all the panels are back on, and everything is sorted. It's time to take it for a road test. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It has been a little different to my usual. It wasn't really a full repair video, more of an update with a few scenes of repairs taking place. dealing with that appalling bodge, which I still really can't believe I found. The next video on this car is likely to be a rear brake inspection. I'll be taking off the drums, inspecting the brake shoes and the wheel cylinders, which are nearly always leaking on these, so I'm fully expecting to have to replace those, and I'll be carrying out a brake fluid change as well, should that be the case. I'll see you soon in another video. Thank you and goodbye.